So I wanted to come on and chat about something today because I keep seeing all the posts about 2020 is going to be so amazing, 2020 is going to be so great, 2020, blah, 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 which always happens in December. It's like people are like, I can't wait for 2019 to be over. 2020 is going to be amazing. 2020 is going to be next level. And I'm like sitting here cracking the fuck up as I'm reading all these posts because I'm just like, have you been following astrology at all? Do you realize that there is like a massive convergence of like basically every planet meeting with Pluto in the first quarter of 2020 in Capricorn? It's like all the planets are coming to meet with Pluto in Capricorn in the first quarter of 2020. And let me just tell you something. It's not going to be a fucking walk in the park, people. I think it's hilarious because I'm like, is 2020 going to be an amazing year? Absolutely. Do you have the ability to make 2020 an amazing year? Hell yeah, you do. But here's the thing. The first quarter of 2020 is going to be challenging. Universally, we are getting our asses handed to us by all of these planets coming in and converging and meeting with Pluto. We are going to be seeing things happen globally that haven't happened in a long, long time. So things that I think we're going to see happening in the first quarter of 2020 is more and more countries moving into police state type realities. We're already seeing some of this in Samoa right now, but I think we're going to see more countries moving into that. Like there is going to be a massive constriction in the first quarter of 2020. The great news about a constriction is that on the other side of the constriction is a release and expansion. But we have to go through the constriction, and it is going to happen in the first quarter of 2020. So I think we're going to see governmental upsets. I think that we're going to see, like I mentioned, I really believe that we're going to see police state type realities happening in several countries. I believe that we're going to be seeing the government stepping in, taking more control in every country. Like I think that is just going to be the norm. Like the power is going to be taken more out of the people's hands. And I think this is because like it really is, it's time for a revolution. It's time for people to step back into power. It's time for people to step back into control of our destiny. And we can no longer just allow a very few number of government elected officials or monarchs to rule our lives. And so there's definitely going to be more of that, I think, more constriction, because without constriction, that revolution doesn't happen. Without that constriction, the rebellion doesn't happen, right? So I definitely think we're going to see that. I think that the first quarter of 2020 is there and designed to make us as uncomfortable as we can possibly be so that we actually decide to go out and affect the change that we're meant to affect on this planet. Because too many of us are just bullshitting around right now and just we're literally just being passengers in our lives, and that's not what we were intended to be. We were intended to be the driver. We were intended to sit in the driver's seat. So the constriction is going to be real, and I can already feel it. And so many of the frontline change makers that I work with, or that are, my friends, or that are in my communities, both in person and online, like we've been feeling this. The majority of us have been getting really, really sick. Like we've been feeling the constriction already. We've been going through a physical constriction and a physical shedding of that's what's just no longer serving. And it's happening for all of us, I think, right now in December, because the rest of the world's going to start going through it in January, and it's going to be ugly. And so we've got to be there to be able to hold the rest of the world through their constriction that they're going through. And we're going to feel it as well. We're going to feel it right along there with you. And again, this isn't intended to be like all doomsday, because I do believe that, the second half of 2020 is going to be amazing, because I think that we are going to start to see some revolution. I think we are going to start to see some rebellion. I think that we are going to start to see people and the beings of this planet taking their lives and destinies back into their own hands. And I think that's going to be really, really amazing. I believe that we are going to have financial collapses that happen in 2020. That's been a long time coming, and I think that we're going to begin to see that. I think that the way that we interact with money, wealth, and currency is going to completely shift over the next 5 years, certainly, but definitely 2020 is the beginning of that shift. It's the beginning of, there is a newness about the energy of 2020, but there has to be a death of the old, and it hasn't happened yet, which means it's coming, so get prepared for it. So, you know, for me, it's like, as I think about this and as I'm watching all these people with their like pie in the sky ideas of how great 2020 is going to be, like what I would say to you is, it's now is really the time to start making wise investments into your future. Figuring out who it is that you want to be ultimately in life, and starting to create plans to become that person, and not waiting until January 1st to start becoming that person, to really, really embrace and embody that person now, today, to start getting ready, because the constriction that you're going to begin feeling at the first of the year is going to be no fucking joke. And especially as we move into like January 12th, shit's going to start getting hairy. So between now and January 12th, I think you have a really amazing opportunity to figure out who is it that you want to be in the next decade. Like, who is this person that you're calling in? Who is this person that you're creating? And showing up as that person now, but also making investments of all your most precious resources, time, energy, and money, into things that are going to allow you to fully embody that person over the next decade. Now is the time. Now is the time to send the signal to the universe that you are really serious about becoming this person that you are claiming that you want to become.